The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Hello everyone and welcome to Young at Heart. My name is Tom Scarff. I'm from the Albany County Department for Aging, where I am the director of a great program I want to tell you a little bit about called Age-Friendly Albany County. This is an initiative that County Executive McCoy asked us to see if we could join as part of the World Health Organization's consortium of age-friendly communities around the world. And we're very happy to say that we were accepted into the program. We do have an email address called agefriendly@albanycountyny.gov. So if you would like any information, this is a 5-year program and we've just started. So we would like to get your input. We will be sending out a survey to many of our residents in the near future to find out exactly what the wants and needs of people from all ages are. So that's Age-Friendly Albany County, and it's an initiative of the World Health Organization. AARP is directing it in the United States, and County Executive Dan McCoy through the Albany County Department for Aging. Well, today I don't have a jacket on because we're kind of going to be talking about some recreational activities. And since we are a program that deals specifically with older people, but not necessarily with older people, I have as my guest today a local resident who made Albany County and the city of Albany very proud, and also the town of Colonie, because his girls went to Shaker High School. And his name is Derrick Rowland. Derrick was a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. He was on the NCAA Division III team that won the national title. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him as we go on. But Derrick, welcome to Young at Heart.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
It's a great pleasure to have you here, and it's an honor to have you here. Mm-hmm. Derrick, at 6'5", you would be considered a small guy today in the NBA.
Right.
But you weren't back then necessarily.
No, they just seem to be growing them bigger these days. You know, most guards now, you got some guys that are a little smaller, but most teams have the bigger guards, and it's just, the way the game is played now.
Now, Derrick, I hate to put this on you, but you are a senior now.
Yes, I am, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, that's I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
That's the goal.
I'm going to call you D, because I know that your nickname was Dr. D.
Right.
And D-Row.
D-Row.
A lot of people call you that.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your days in the NBA. Who were the great players that you played with?
Well, the NBA was, for me, coming out of Eastern Long Island. I started out at a very small school, but I graduated from Brentwood High School, which was a very large high school, former high school of Mitch Kupchak, who was the former president of the Lakers. And I ended up going to Potsdam, which is a very Division III school, and not many players make it from Division III to that level. So it was like a dream come true, for me.
And did you go right from college into the?
Well, I went from college to the CBA, to the Albany Patroons.
Okay.
And then, I had some success with the Patroons, and, I got called up a few times for 10-day contracts and spent a little time up there. And I ended up spending my last 12 years in Europe.
Okay. Now, when you were with the Milwaukee Bucks, who did you play with? Like who did you, even if you were playing against somebody, who were some of the players?
Well, some of the guys that I played with, through training camp and exhibition seasons, that really stood out to me was Akeem Olajuwon. I was with the Houston Rockets. He and Ralph Sampson, Cleveland Cavaliers, guys like World Be Free. These most of I guess the viewers probably remember some of these guys. These
absolutely.
guys played a long time ago. But the NBA was again, it was I didn't get a lot of playing time there, but getting there was quite a journey, you know what I mean? And just the work ethic and coming from a small school and all the things, being I was a tweener. They said I was I was a forward, but the size of a guard, and so it was a lot of things that prevented me from, but that was just a great experience.
Now, when you went to the Patroons, who did you play for? Who was the?
Well, the very first guy I played for I played a few games for Dean Memory Clevenger.
Okay, Dean the Dream.
Dean the Dream. He's a former New York Knick,
Yeah.
and the rest of his soul. He passed away not too long ago. And once he was fired in his first year, Phil Jackson became the coach.
Oh.
And, the rest is history. We went on to win a championship.
Absolutely.
And a lot of great things happened for him. And for myself, but especially for him.
I don't know if people remember the Albany Patroons. I mean, I know people remember the Albany Patroons because it used to be packed. The Washington Arm was packed to the rafters. And, a lot of people don't realize that was that Phil's first head coaching job?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And also George Karl was a coach.
George Karl. The Patroons have produced more players and coaches than any other franchise in the world. I think we have over 40 to 50 players played in Albany that have played in the NBA. We have a couple coaches of the year. We got like Rick Carlisle. He's the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. He was a teammate of mine here in Albany. Scotty Brooks, who's the head coach of the Washington Wizards. He was also on that same team. Then you got George Karl, Phil Jackson, so there's a number of assistant coaches. Sidney Lowe, who played here, he's the assistant coach with the Wizards. Those are a number of guys, and I see all the officials, like, a lot of them getting older now, but a lot of the guys that officiated our games went on to officiate in the NBA.
Now, who was Phil Jackson's assistant with the beard?
Charlie Rosen, who I talk to on a regular basis.
Did he go to the NBA at all?
No, he wasn't. He played college. He's a writer, but he wasn't a professional.
He was kind of an intellectual.
And he still is. Charlie's he still writes, and he's living down in Kingston.
Now, as was Phil, right? I mean, weren't they? Somebody told me that they were really into relaxation and
yes.
meditation.
Phil had a number of ways of he had a camp down in Woodstock in the summer, and it was. We just did all sorts of weird stuff. I call it weird, we talked about the soils, and we didn't eat sugar, and all this stuff that was you kind of had to get into it. We held hands during practice, and he passed out books. The Zen master. Phil had a lot of different techniques that he used to communicate, relax, and motivate his players.
So you have contact now with Charlie.
Yes.
And you have contact with Rick Carlisle.
Right.
And how about Phil Jackson?
I haven't talked to Phil in probably a few years.
Okay.
But he's right down to 87, so I know where to find him at.
Right.
But I plan to reach out to him. I just haven't had a chance to even catch a game since he's been down there. But that's definitely on my agenda.
So if you need tickets to the Knicks, you know who to talk to.
Know who to call, right? Tom Scarff.
Oh, yeah, right. That's exactly not right. All right, so you scored a high of 51 points when you played for Shell. What is it called? Shell Remula.
Yes. And
that's part of the Filipino basketball
League. Yes, that was a great experience. I played in the Philippines, and in the Philippines, basketball is the #1 sport in the country.
Really?
No less than 20,000 people at every game.
Really?
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, you were like a rock star. You couldn't go outside. People were always, approaching you and autographs. It was a great experience. I really liked it over there. But yeah, you better put up some numbers. It was a fast-paced game. 110 in the shade over there. So it was a great experience.
Now, your 45 points in the CBA was an individual record at the time. Is it still hold?
No, actually.
Well, I know the CBA is not around anymore,
It was a Patroon record.
Patroon record.
T.J. Thompson broke that record.
Okay.
All the things that I was able to do here in Albany, the reason why I think that I had such an effect on the people is because I worked so hard to do it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I really, my work ethic was what made me stand out as far as an athlete goes.
Now, I was lucky enough, today I was watching your national championship game on YouTube.
Right.
Do you remember what your number was?
44.
See, I couldn't tell because the other team had their names on the back.
Right.
But you
right.
guys didn't have
no, we
names
don't have
on
a
the
name.
back.
We like, I guess it's that, we're all one type of thing, you
Yeah.
know. And, like I think the Yankees, do they have their names on the back? I think on their home.
I want to say Jeter had, I can remember Jeter's
on
name
the road,
on the back.
but not at home.
Right. So people knew who they were.
I guess.
Right.
But no, I was number 44, and that was a number that, and I played center in college, and when I got to the pro level, I had to move over to the guard position, which was a very difficult transition,
Now, part of the age-friendly initiative that we're doing is to ask people to get involved in intergenerational activities, and you do that.
Yes.
You work with kids a lot, right?
Quite a bit, yes.
Okay, and what do you do? Do you have a basketball camp?
Yes, I do. I have what we call the Hoop School, and I run it over at Wyanskill. I'm over at LaSalle High School. Sometimes I was there, but now I'm over at Vanderheiden. And it's a school for kids of all ages. We teach them the fundamentals. We teach them technique. We teach them, we motivate them. And I've been doing that for many, many years. And, the benefit for me is that, it keeps me in not great shape, because I don't have to be in basketball shape, but it keeps me as fit as I need to be at this stage in my life. So that's
keeps you young at heart too.
It keeps me young at heart, because I'm always getting challenged, by the younger players. So I got to go out there and play them one-on-one to about 2. We played about 2 or 3. That's it. And
now, what are the ages?
all ages. All ages, from probably 7 or 8 years old all the way up to college, pro, whoever. And again, when you learn the fundamentals of something, you never have to relearn it. There's so many players out here that play without understanding the right way to do it. And if you do something right, it can pretty much work at any level.
Now, let me ask you something. How have you stayed in shape? Because you're in pretty good shape. How have you stayed in shape over the years?
Well, being a pro athlete, I was forced to stay in shape, my whole life from high school, college to the pros, but after that ends, it's kind of, you have to find it with, it's a different motivation, for me, from working out throughout my whole life, it was just a way of life for me, it was easy for me to go to the gym, and just get a workout in because I was so used to doing it, but that kind of started to change the older I got. I had to put more effort into it, and one of the things that I've always maintained, and I even did this, when I was younger, I never went to the gym and worked out for 2 hours and gave it all I had. I always believe in moderation.
Okay.
I want to leave the gym feeling good. I don't want to leave the gym, and if it's 20 minutes, if it's 40 minutes, and I that's my key now. I never let 3 days go by without doing something, to benefit my health and my mental and physical. So, what works for me is that, I stay consistent, but I don't spend a lot of time in the gym doing a lot of, really, hard stuff.
Well, what about people of an older age that, find themselves to get a little bit on the flabby side, like yours truly, and have limited mobility, like yours truly? What do you suggest for us? Now, you mentioned swimming to me.
Swimming is a way that, that can help you with your cardio and your blood flow and all that stuff without putting any, pressure on your knees or your legs if you have any issues with that. I'm not a doctor, but, eating has a big part to do with a lot of stuff. Your diet. If I can't get out there and exercise like I would like to, I have to watch what I eat. Because I can't eat anything. So I just think it's everything has to be done in moderation. I think not to with a goal in mind. Because I just never had. I was never over. I'm still trying to gain weight as we speak these days. When I say gain, I'm about 220. I like to be 225, 230 sometimes. But the way that I maintain is I do things in moderation because it'll give me the motivation to go back the next day. If I go there and I'm sore and I'm stiff and I can't, I have a less incentive. As you get older, I think, stretch, flexibility, and activity, very important.
I think there's some things you can actually do in your home using simple
you can do it,
books and stuff like that.
You can do everything in your home. Before all this high-tech stuff came out, I remember I used to go run around the field. I see a hill, I get a jump rope, I can get on the floor, get on the court and stretch. Stretching is something that people underestimate, the flexibility, because when you just get up and go and you start working out, if you could take 10 to 15 minutes a day,
right,
stretching at a moderate pace and, understanding your body and work on improvement, I think you'll see throughout the course of the day, it'll make a difference.
Even a stationary bike, they say, is pretty good.
Yes, absolutely.
For your cardio, too.
For your cardio. And as you get older, for me, I'm not lifting to be a bodybuilder. I just lift to stay toned. So I don't never go in there and put a whole bunch of weight on. I just put something I can do comfortably 10 times, and I do it, and I just stay consistent with it. They say that, and I just try to find a weight. If I can do it 15 times, it's too light. If I can do it only 5, it's too heavy. So you got to find something in the middle where you can do about 10 reps. And at the end of that 10th rep, you're really not screaming, but you're really just getting it up there.
I know that Larry Bird wasn't a great,
No, physical specimen.
Like I think Kevin McHale on that team was pretty big.
Yeah.
But Bird wasn't. And we were talking a little bit about some of the newer players and how being short today is a real deficit for these guys. Right. We were talking about Isaiah in the Boston Celtics and how he's he's a short guy, but he wouldn't have been he would have been a short guy back in your days, but not as short.
not as short as he is today, but there's always a niche for a lot of players are specialty guys in the NBA. I can see a lot of guys don't even see the court, but some guys that are out there, there's like some guys can play great defense but can't shoot. Some guys can shoot but can't play defense. There's all types of things that prohibit you from being successful, and it's part of the game. Work on it. I mean, Isaiah couldn't grow to be taller, but I'll take him on my team any day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, do you still keep in touch with some of your Potsdam teammates?
Yes, all the time. I went back up for our 30-year anniversary, winning the championship. I think that was a few years ago. And everybody came. And today, I just saw a few of them, my teammates, this weekend. There's a gym rat basketball tournament here, and you probably know the guy that runs it. His name is John K-Mac.
Yeah, sure, I know John.
John, his father Steve.
Yeah.
And John is it's the biggest AAU tournament in the Northeast.
Really?
300 teams are here this week, and you get 300 teams, boys, and then 300 girls teams.
In Albany?
Oh, everywhere.
Really?
Skidmore, RPI, Shen, all different, about 8 or 9 different sites.
I didn't even know that.
Basketball marathon. Games start at 8 a.m. Saturday. They go till 12 that night, and then they start again Sunday morning and go till about, the championship games are about 6. So it's a marathon. And all the Potsdam guys come up, so it's a good time for us. So we do keep in touch.
Wow, yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for Potsdam because I ran a business up there, not too far from the college.
Potsdam is a great place.
It is. Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when I first went there, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, wow, it was because it took me so long to get there. Like they didn't tell me it was this far, But once you get there, you see the atmosphere. I was just there recently. The campus is immaculate. I mean, they got the #1 food service and all the school. It's just so many benefits, and that's why I try to tell the kids in this area, if you want to go to school and you want to play sports, if you want to get a good education, Potsdam is perfect. You're only 3 hours from home, 3 or 4 hours from Albany. The education is great. The campus is great. The so
beautiful country.
Beautiful country. I enjoyed it.
Now, what would you say is the advantage, or how important is it for you to have a relationship with younger people as an older guy? I mean, what can they teach you?
Well, they, for me, I'm just such a competitive person, and that's just my nature because of, what I did in my life. Just about activity. They just always want to go. I mean, they go way more than I would ever like to go, but it's just they have a zest for life. They just, I remember kids are out running around and we obviously can't run around like that, but you just have to have a zest. There's always something to do, they want to celebrate everything. They just want to, birth everything that comes up. There's a reason to embrace it.
So as far as what you can teach them?
Slow down a little bit and be consistent. be consistent and be, I think consistency is one of the most important words in the English language, because to do anything of magnitude, you got to be consistent at it, whether it's working out, whether it's advancing at work, whatever you're doing, you got to be consistent. And if you're consistent with a good attitude as a young person, you're probably going to move at a pretty good pace in life.
What's the future of basketball in this area, do you think?
I think it's great. The future of basketball is just, with all the other countries in the picture now. That's why these guys can make a gazillion dollars, because, if you get one guy from China, you got the whole Chinese market watching. So you got, so the NBA is very smart with that. One of my former teammates and friends, Michael Ray Richardson, right now is he just came back from Senegal. The NBA has programs where they go to all the other countries looking for players to play in the NBA.
Michael Ray Richardson's still playing?
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not.
He's just a scout, and he does camps and stuff.
All right.
We do some stuff that we have together. We have a local company. We're the Perfect Sports Group, and he's one of the partners in that company, and so we're trying to get on the national scene with what we do.
Did he play in the Patroons?
Yes, he was my teammate. He was on that same team with Rick Carlisle, Scotty Brooks, myself, Sidney Lowe, Michael. But we had 4 first-round NBA picks on the CBA team.
Oh boy.
So it was the best team they've ever seen.
Right.
That was ever put together.
Do you think we'll have professional basketball back in Albany?
Well, I sure would hope so. I mean, that was just such a great thing for so many reasons. Just give the community another outlet. The kids. It's just so many things that comes to the forefront. Having a professional team here. It's being talked about right now. As a matter of fact, I've been talking to the commissioner from the Canadian Basketball League about bringing a team here. They always recruit Albany very heavily because of the location, because of the history, and because of, we got a facility, and there's so many, it's like a turnkey. Albany's real close to it. You can just bring a team in. It wouldn't take much.
Now, if a professional team comes back to Albany, would you want it to be in a large venue or in the old, staid, beautiful Washington Avenue Armory? I just told you where I wanted it.
I know, no place but the Armory, because the Armory is tailor-made for that. If you get 3,000, 3,500, you got a packed house. You create the atmosphere. The ghosts are still there from when we played, and it's right in the community. People can walk. So the Armory is that's what it was made for, in my mind.
And it's actually in better shape than when you were there.
Yes, they've made some great additions. They got better lights. They got seating. They still have the NBA floor for basketball. So the Armory is perfect for a minor league team.
Because my friend Ben Fernandez is still the owner of the Armory.
Yes, Ben is still the owner,
and he was one of the owners of the Patroons.
He was, one of them. He became the owner of the whole CBA.
Oh,
he bought the league.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, Ben went big, but he bought the league. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's an amazing journey that you've had, Derrick, and I think that some of the things that you can teach, and people like you that have been around for a long time, one of the things I would imagine that you can teach young people is discipline.
Right.
And that's an important ingredient.
Well,
in sports.
There's all these words like discipline, self-esteem is very important. Because if you have to feel good about yourself to want to do good for yourself. Desire, attitude I think is probably the most important word in the English language. Because if you got a good attitude, you're probably going to get some good results of whatever your endeavor is. Or if you got a bad attitude, the results will probably be bad. So there's words that you got to kind of pick out. Like all through my journey, I was always the underdog, so I had to leave no stones unturned as far as making it, or else I wouldn't make it. So I had to read motivational stuff. I had to run every day. I had to eat right. I had to respect my elders. I had to do all these things that add up to that I consider parts of the laws of success. And you just have to do them one day at a time. And that goes back to consistency. If you can do that, consistency, you may not be perfect, but you'll be better than you was when you started.
How important is it for parents to get involved in their children's sports?
Extremely important. I mean, I do know that some parents do go overboard, and I may have been guilty of that at times, you know. Because like just yesterday, I mean, I was sitting in the stands at an AAU tournament. I mean, you thought you had a boxing match, you know what I mean? People were screaming. I mean, it was just crazy, but I understand because, I have 5 kids, and I'm going through the sports, and, so, but it's I found that what's important to you also becomes important to your kids when they're younger. Like with basketball, I have 5 kids. All of my kids play college basketball. We got scholarships, and bringing that's just to keep the interest there with all the other stuff going on today. I just made it important to me. I do things like if you can, I take a 6-year-old. If you can dribble the ball up and down the court 3 times, I'll give you a quarter. Really? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's bribing them, but I got the work in and they got the quarter. So all things like that, it just adds up, and you just have to understand, because there's one thing about a parent. They say this is that a parent can see things in their children that no one else can see. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that, because they had especially, I think they talked about Michael Jordan was on. They talked about Derrick Jeter, Tom Brady, all these guys that had a strong father influence and a parent in their life, and they just talked about because Michael Jordan was saying that his father was telling him all these things that he just didn't know it. His father was telling him because he could see it. Mm-hmm. Same with my children. I tell them, you can definitely, this is where you are, because you can see stuff in your kids as a parent. You just want to make sure you kind of guide them in the right direction.
And I think grandparents have even more
because the parent and so it's just about they say young kids from 0 to 8 is the biggest influential time of someone's life, but the teen years, that's a special
probably the most difficult time.
Yeah, probably the most, because most kids at 13, 14 start to they want to talk a little bit.
And they have physical changes that they don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is, and
it's scary. Mm-hmm. It is a difficult time.
Parenting is very tough. It's tough. But it's such a reward. That's why I could never figure out. Because as a parent, that's a blessing. So for me, you say kids, it's tough. You got to raise them. It's a lot of stuff, but it's also it's a life changer. It adds to you.
And did I hear that you have a child that just graduated from law school?
Yes, Morgan is my oldest daughter. She just graduated from Albany Law.
Beautiful.
She played hoops at Lemoyne, and she's already got a job here at Schenectady. And she's studying for the bar right now. So,
wonderful. Yeah. And you have 2 daughters that are about to go
to Europe and play basketball. I have Madison and Mackenzie, who had great college careers. They played at Queens. Madison was National Player of the Year, and they decided that they want to continue to play. So they're looking to go to Europe this summer.
Now, tell me about some of the records that.
Well, Madison, I mean, they got a lot of those. Madison, I said she was National Player of the Year. She's led the NCAA in steals for 4 straight years. That's unheard of. Just for 4 years to be the best at something in the whole country is pretty special. She's the only woman in women's professional basketball. Cheryl Miller came close, but she didn't do it. She's the only woman to score 2,000 points, get 1,000 rebounds, 400 steals, 400 assists, and 100 block shots.
I have to write this down because I know somebody's going to want to hear this.
Yes, that is an amazing accomplishment. I don't know where she gets the motor. I mean, she has a motor, so this is how she plays. She's all over the place, and she's a year younger than Mackenzie. So with her doing that, you're not going to let your little sister outdo you. So Mackenzie led the nation in points. Double-doubles. That's a double-double is when you get double figures in points and rebounds. So she averaged that for a whole season. So, and Merrick, my youngest, she's still a senior there. They all played. I had 3 on one team, so that was.
Now, where do they go to school?
Queens College.
Okay, and where do they go to high school?
Shaker.
Right here in the town of Colonie. So I want to give a plug to the town of Colonie.
Oh, Colonie is great.
And our time is coming to an end, Derrick. I want to thank you so much for being with us, and also for bringing, your legacy to the city of Albany and continuing it in Albany County, because it's important. And we have Legends of Sports coming up, where we're going to have a lot of Legends of Sports. We'll be sitting down and talking to people, and you're certainly on that panel. So once again, I want to thank you all for being with us at Young at Heart today. We'll be back next month with another show, and think about Albany County and think about age-friendly Albany County. Think about getting out and doing something with young people, whether or not they're your kids, grandkids, or not. It's important. It's good for them, and it's good for us. Thank you for being with us at Young at Heart.